All right, chapter 48, we have seen a big change in the life of Jacob. We went from a Jacob who was self-centered, conniving, destructive, to a Jacob who is, in the way that I look at this last chapter, sold out for God. And the only way that change could come about is through God. We could never say that somebody can't change, because Jacob sure did that. We are 17 years past the time that Jacob came to Egypt. It don't seem like it's been that long, as you read the passage. But 17 years, he is getting toward the end of his life. His illness has him on his deathbed. And Joseph gets to visit him. As we said last week, Jacob probably never thought that he would see Joseph again, because he thought he was dead. He thought that was it for Joseph. But now he has got to see him, and now Joseph is going to visit him. And picking up in verse 1 of chapter 48. It says, "It came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, Behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob and said, Behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself, or Jacob strengthened himself, and sat upon the bed." You can imagine the thrill that fills his heart at this moment. When he's on his deathbed, Joseph is coming to see him. And you have to remember that Joseph is high, right? I mean, he's got a high position in Egypt. So to know that Joseph, your son, who is also second in command in Egypt, is coming to visit you. But he's also bringing with him who? His two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. So Jacob gains that strength to sit up on the side of the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty, you notice how he refers to God now. God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me. He is going all the way back to that time when God blessed him. He's remembering that God blessed him and reminded him of that blessing, that he will have a great multitude come out from him, a fruitful multitude. And he says that in verse 4. He says, "And said unto me, Behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee. And I will make of thee a multitude of people. And I will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession." So he is building up to tell Joseph something very important that is going to affect the 12 tribes of Israel. So he's kind of laying it out, saying, now the Lord blessed me. He said, I will be multiplied in abundance. I would have a multitude of people, that he will give the land to us for an everlasting possession. And now he says in verse 5, "And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee in Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine." So he is talking about adopting his grandsons and making them his. Now we need to understand the importance here. We have the tribes of Israel. Now, Ephraim and Manasseh end up being in the tribes of Israel. Joseph is not in the tribe of Israel. So if you look at the tribes of Israel, you have 12 with Joseph. But he's not a tribe. Then you have, if you added the tribe of Levi in there, you have 13. All right. The tribe of Levi, though, is not a tribe that gets an allotment of land. So the tribe of Levi is split between all the 12 tribes. They're the one tribe that does not get any land. They are spread out between the lands for what? Spiritual support. So when you add Manasseh and Ephraim in there, you have 12 tribes. You have the 12 that the 10 sons of Jacob, plus you have Ephraim, plus you have Manasseh, which comes up to your 12 tribes of Israel. So in order for these two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, to become part of the 12 tribes of Israel, they would have to be whose kids? Jacob's kids. So Jacob is saying, they shall become mine. Now he says in verse 6, and thy issue, which thou begottest after them, they shall be thine. In other words, if you have kids after these two, they'll be your kids. But these two, Ephraim and Manasseh, will be my kids. Shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. Now, Ephraim and Manasseh were over 17 years old by this time. So they were getting to that age of, you would say, responsibility. You know, getting married, having a family, raising kids. Now he says in verse 7, and as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way, when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath. And I buried her there in the way of Ephrath. The same is Bethlehem. When we think of old little town of Bethlehem, what do we think about? Jesus. When Jacob thinks about old little town of Bethlehem, what does he think about? Rachel. He is telling Joseph about the death of his mother. They buried her in Bethlehem. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, who are these? Now we need to understand something here. In that area, it seems that the older you got, the less you were able to see. And they say, from what I read, they think it has to do with the sun. That the sun on your eyes, constantly blinding your eyes, causes your sight to diminish. So it's not that Jacob doesn't know his grandkids, which he doesn't really know them real well, but he doesn't know who is standing with Joseph because he can't what? He can't see them. So he's saying, who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons, whom God hath given me in this place. And he said, bring them, and I will pray thee unto them, and I will bless them. He is going to bless who? Manasseh and Ephraim. What? How would you feel if you were Joseph and Jacob's about to bless your kids? I mean, that'd be awesome, right? I mean, to know that the importance of these two children, out of all the kids that his descendants had, he blesses Manasseh and Ephraim. God had a plan, right? It says in verse 10, now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not see. He brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. Now, whether this embarrassed the kids, you know, when you're 17 years old, what's the last thing you want to happen? Your grandparents to kiss you, or embrace you, or squeeze your cheeks. Because it appears that after the embracing and the kissing, they back away and get closer to Joseph. How do we see that? Look at verse 11. And Israel said unto Joseph, I have not thought to see thy face. And lo, God hath showed me also thy seed. He said, I didn't even think I'd see your face, but now I've got to see your children also. And it says, and Joseph brought them out from between his knees. There's two ways they said you could look at this. Number one, they have backed up and they're right up on Joseph, and he pushes him back up. Number two, it could mean that it came from his loins, that it was his children, his lineage that came forward. I think it's more of they kind of backed away and tried to get away, and he pushed them back forward, back toward Jacob. That's the way I'm looking at it. Verse 13 says, and Joseph took them both, Ephraim in the right hand, toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand, toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. Now the one who would be priority is the one you bless with the right hand. So I want you to notice what he does here. He puts Ephraim toward the left hand of Jacob. He puts Manasseh toward the right hand of Jacob. Joseph is setting them up so the elder son, Manasseh, is the one that's blessed. So let's see what happens here. Now remember, Jacob can't really see what's going on. So he brings them near, puts them how he wants them in priority. It says, and Israel stretched out his hand, and his right hand, and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. Instead of going like this, he goes like this. Kind of awesome, right? He's blessing the what? The younger. You notice a lot of times God chooses the younger. Look at David. He was the what? He was the youngest. You look at Joseph. He was one of the youngest ones. So God chooses. Why he does, I don't know. But God, and the way I put it in my mind nicely, God doesn't care about your customs, which the elder should be the one to get the priority or the blessing. God doesn't care about your rules and your regulations. God blesses who he wants to bless. God chooses who he wants to choose in these cases here, despite what their custom might have been. So he blesses with the right hand Ephraim. He blesses with the left hand Manasseh. Now I want you to look here at the next verse. And he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life unto this day. He has reached what I would call spiritual heights. Who's he giving glory to? God. Would the old Jacob do that? No. The old Jacob was deceiving. The old Jacob was self-centered. But now, as he is coming to the end of his life and God has done so much for him, he says, I'm going to bless you, Joseph, the God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads. He has nothing to boast except his wonderful Redeemer. That's us, folks. We got nothing to boast. Nothing. There's nothing good in Nathan. It's all what? It's all God. And that's what Joseph is saying, that he is, or Jacob saying, he blessed me all my life. I have been redeemed from all my evil. And it says, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. Again, whose kids are they going to be? Jacob's. They're going to be part of the 12 tribes of Israel now. And he said, let my name be among them. In other words, they'll be of the family of Jacob, of Israel. Let my father's name, Abraham and Isaac, be among them. And let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. So he is given a prophecy here. Since they are now of the 12 tribes of Israel, he says they're going to be a what? Multitude. a great nation. Now, Joseph's mad. Joseph's not too happy. Look at verse 17. It says that when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. He held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. Joseph is worried about the custom. Joseph is worried about the firstborn should be the one that is blessed, because he is what? The firstborn, the special child. But he thinks that's what should happen. Look what Jacob's response is. It says, and his father refused. He said, I know it, my son. I know it. I know he is the elder son. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. So he's saying, I'm not taking that away from him. He's going to be a great people. He himself is going to be great. But truly, his younger brother shall be greater than he. And his seed shall become a multitude of nations. It's important to see that. A lot of times when you see Ephraim and Manasseh talked about, who's always first? Ephraim, Manasseh. Ephraim is the greater one, and he does become a great land or a great people. So does Manasseh. You see them always a lot of times named together when you talk about them. And he blessed in that day, saying, In thee shall Israel bless, saying, God make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said unto Joseph, Behold, I die, but God shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. So he's saying, you're going back home. Now let's see how he's going back home. But I want you to notice, number one, the faith of Jacob. He says, Behold, I die, but what? God shall be with you. Remember that, Joseph. I'm dying, but God's going to be with you. It said, Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren. Now you notice that every son is going to get a plot of land. You know, you have the 12 tribes, they're all going to get this plot of land. He said, I'm giving you one above thy brethren. I'm giving you this land that I took out of the hand of the Amorites with sword and with my bow. This was apparently a personal gift made from Jacob to Joseph. It was a ridge near Sychar that Jacob had purchased. The Amorites took it back, and Jacob took it back. And Jacob is now giving this area here to Joseph for him to be buried. So that's how he's going back home and to be buried. This land is still a land of big controversy, because it's exactly where Israel has the West Bank area. It's that area right there where Joseph has been buried. So Joseph gets a blessing out of this. Not definitely the blessing he wanted for his sons. He wanted Manasseh to be above Ephraim. But, it's not what God had planned.